Copenhagen. I am in Copenhagen for 2 nights. And I've never been here before, but I've heard that it is the knitting capital of... Well, it's not. I feel like Stockholm is probably the knitting capital of Europe, but Copenhagen's close, and I haven't been here before. I literally arrived about an hour ago. It's about 10:30, and I'm just walking through this gorgeous park. So far, first hour, loving it. It's amazing. It's so calm. It's really, really making me think that I'm kind of maybe done with London, because I just love how peaceful and everyone's just so happy and well. Everyone is so healthy. First impressions, I'm loving it. I am going to Woolstock. That's my first stop. I'm here for the weekend. Most shops in Copenhagen either shut on a Sunday or a Monday. Woolstock closes on both, so it's only open today. I'm literally here Saturday, Sunday, Monday. So I have to go today. I've heard that a lot of places in Copenhagen just like randomly will shut. They'll just be like, no, I don't fancy it today. Which, to be fair, like, kudos to them, you know, all power to you. You don't have to open if you don't want to. It's your shop, you know, but also, you know, I'm only here for 2 days, so it would be great if they could open when they say they do. Which hopefully they will. I mean, I'm just hoping that that doesn't happen with Woolstock. So that's my first stop, but like I say, it's only about 10:30 and they open at 11. So I've got about half an hour, and I thought that I would just kind of wander through this park and take in the atmosphere, soak it all in. My knitting she's ramping up a notch. Let me show you what I'm knitting so far. I've been knitting this yarn by piece blanket from Pattern Knits, and I've just finished January, and it's so fun. Like, it's so satisfying, because you kind of think, like, there's so many steps, there's so many like bits to the process. You have to like choose your colours and then choose the specific colours of each patch, and then you have to knit 9 patches, and then you have to do the like weaving the ends of the 9 patches and block 9 patches, and then do the border of 9 patches, and then sew all the 9 patches together. It's a pretty intensive process, and I thought that I would just kind of be really done with it and be like, ugh, I don't want to do this. But because there are so many processes, I think each step feels so like you're really achieving something. Like, each time you knit a square, it's like, oh, I've knit a square. So I am really enjoying that. But the project that I cast on for this trip is the Darjeeling blouse. I'll put the name of the designer on the screen because I can't remember, but this is where I'm at so far. It's got this gorgeous like picot cast on firstly, which I've never done before, so new skill unlocked. And then it's got this scalloped edge as well with the lace stitch. I don't even know if you can probably see it because I've only just started the lace, but so far very excited for this. I think it's going to be so beautiful, and it's so spring-like. I mean, even here in Copenhagen, it's not cold. It's coat weather, but like, it's not freezing. I just can't wait for spring. I can't wait for it. Like, in London, all the crocuses are out, daffodils, and it's starting to get warmer, and like, it's starting to be cardigan weather, not coat weather. I really need to knit another cardigan. So that brings me onto my shopping list for this trip, which is not extensive. I have a few things that I would like to get if I can, but I won't be bummed if I don't get anything. I'm not here like to do a big haul. I know that this is an expensive country, it's an expensive city. Despite the fact that a lot of wool is actually manufactured here, it's not cheaper to buy it here, so I'm aware of that, and I'm not going to buy anything just for the sake of buying it. But it would be really lovely to get some yarn for the Niels jumper. Talked about it in my like craft goals for 2025. I'm hating this lighting again. Okay, we've changed position again, and I'm still not sure I like it. Definitely want to get something for this Niels jumper. This is a Cezanne jumper, and I really want to remake it or something similar. It might end up being like an Ingrid sweater or something like that. And I've already got the mohair. It's the soft silk mohair from Knitting for Olive in clover green. And I want a kind of darker green yarn to pair with that so that it kind of marls a little bit and creates a really interesting texture. So I'll be on the lookout for that. And the other thing that I'm hoping to find is some Lang Yarns Cloud in the 12 colorway, like the number 12, because I've just seen so many jumpers in that colorway, and I just think that yarn is amazing. Hoping to find some nice Danish yarn. I don't know how to pronounce it, but there's the Danish yarn that Petite Knit uses for a lot of her patterns. Other than that, I'm just gonna kind of see what's out there and browse. I'm so excited. Welcome to another day in Copenhagen. It's glorious weather. This is the botanical gardens there that I've just been in. Really cool. I'm gonna finish my pastry. That was one of the highlights of my trip so far, definitely. It was so good. I can't believe I got to see a frog. I can't believe I got to see a frog. I'm having a lovely time. Because today is Sunday, most of the shops are shut, including the knitting shops. So today I think is going to be a museum day. I also want to try out some bakeries, and then tonight I'm going to go out for dinner. But first, coffee. Hey gang, today is the big day. Today is the day that we go yarn shopping. I'm literally so excited. This whole weekend, like, I feel like I haven't seen that much knitting. And I was kind of expecting to like see people knitting in the street, see people knitting in the park. But I was doing some knitting in the park, and I even got a couple of looks that were like, whoa, she's knitting. So I don't know how much knitting is actually part of the culture here. I mean, I've literally been here for 2 days, so what do I know? But anyway, today's the day that we really lean into Danish knitting culture. I have this big fat touristy map in front of me, and before I check out the Airbnb, I'm gonna just map out where I'm gonna go and all the yarn shops I'm gonna go to. I'm literally so excited. Let's go! Hello. So you know how I said that I didn't really have a shopping list? I wouldn't be upset if I didn't come away from Copenhagen without buying any yarn. And I didn't want to buy that much because it was quite an expensive city. Yeah. I bought quite a lot. I got back yesterday and I haven't unpacked all of this yet. I'm very excited. Like, everything I bought, I'm just so in love with, and I can't wait to knit with it. So like it's all good, I'm happy, but yeah. What can I say? I've got no self-control. I don't know why any of us thought any different. Like, obviously, I went to Copenhagen, guys. I'm gonna buy yarn. I don't know why. Like, it's making me laugh so much because literally 2 weeks ago, in my like craft goals for 2025, I was like, we're gonna whittle this stash down. I don't want to be moving house with any yarn. I guess that's goal number one, is to get through my stash. If I can get through all of this, let's just start. Let's just go through the list. Obviously, the first shop I went to was Woolstock, and I loved Woolstock. I think if I lived in Copenhagen, that would be either that one or Brunswick would be my like top choice of yarn provider. I could have spent all day in Woolstock, but I didn't buy anything there, mainly because it was the first shop I went in. Most of the yarn there was Adria Feel, which is like a Spanish brand. Basically, none of the stuff that they had there was like, oh, I couldn't get this in England. So I didn't buy anything there. But that's not to say that that wasn't an incredible shop. And it was also so lovely sitting there, eating a cake, drinking a coffee, and just looking around the room and being like, oh, you're knitting that. Oh, you're wearing the Inga sweater. Oh, that's nice. You're knitting this. And like so many Sophie scarves. It was crazy. So that was a really nice way to kind of start the trip and feel really like immersed in the knitting culture in Copenhagen. I've got tea now. All is well with the world. The next place I went to was Knitting for Olive, and I really thought like I'm not going to buy anything from here because I know some places in the UK that I can get Knitting for Olive. I don't have a project in mind for it. I know what I can get. Like I know what Knitting for Olive looks like. I know what it feels like. That's all good. I just wanted to see like the store and the beauty of it. And so I went in and it is beautiful. Like it's gorgeous. Just the lighting, like somehow the lighting in there is so on brand, if that makes sense. Like, yeah, it was really lovely. That was beautiful. And I really didn't expect to buy anything, like I said, but they had a little sale bin. And you know I love a sale bin. I couldn't resist. And I ended up packing them in a Tupperware because I didn't have any room in my suitcase. So I got 2 bits out of the sale bin. I got this ball of the soft silk mohair. So nice, my God. This is the colour Marzipan. Oh, and I thought that this would probably go with the yarn that I had for my Jora jumper, and I just used the dark, like the Summer watercolour to make the Alex hood, and I have some of the cream colour left over, so I thought maybe I could pair that with a mohair as well, maybe make a beanie hat or something like that. And this was like the equivalent of $3.50, so beautiful, well worth it. But they only had 1 ball of these, so. And then I also got a ball of the heavy merino in this incredible, I mean, it looks exactly the same colour as my jumper, but it's actually a bit more like orangey. This is like a brick red. It's called pomegranate in the heavy merino. Again, only 1 ball because they only had 1 ball. And this was probably about £5. So altogether, like well worth it, these 2. Very happy with that. Like I say, I can get more of these online if I want to make something bigger, but I love these colours and yay. That was it for day 1 in terms of yarn shops. Day 2, it was a Sunday, everything's shut on a Sunday. Big yarn day was day 3. And it's fair to say that there's a decent amount of pressure built up around. I wanted to make the most of it. I know that I get very overwhelmed very easily. Like I get really overwhelmed, especially when it comes to time, energy, and spending money, because I have a short supply of all 3. Energy is a big one for me. I had chronic fatigue a few years ago. Like I get very tired very quickly, and there's not much like notice that that's going to happen. So I need to be quite aware of how much energy I'm using, how far I'm walking between shops and stuff like that. And also money is a big one. I hate feeling like I've wasted money. And there was a lot on this trip that I felt like I didn't need to spend that, and that was really frustrating. And I didn't want that to be the case with the yarn shopping, because that's supposed to be an enjoyable experience, and it really was. So I tried to let loose a little bit. I tried to just chill out and loosen up and just go with what I was feeling. And I'm pretty happy with what I came away with. Although, obviously, in the cold light of day, there are some decisions I maybe would have made differently, but we'll go through that. The first yarn shop I went to was Nicoline Garn, which was okay. It was nice. The people were nice. Like, I got there as it opened, so I felt kind of bad for them because I literally opened the door before they had properly opened. I didn't realise, but they were lovely. They were very, like, welcoming and helpful. They didn't make me feel bad about the fact that I had, like, walked in and forced them to open the shop early. But I didn't get anything from there. Mainly just because it sort of felt like everything I could get at home. There was nothing that was, like, blowing my mind. It was quite commercial. So much drops. It was pretty much all drops there, and lang yarns. So the next one I went to was Ulstedet, which was amazing. Again, I mean, they're all incredible, but like, this was the first purchase that I made. So I told you at the beginning that I wanted to get some of this yarn. Helt. I got some of this. Hand, that one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. I got 6 of these, and I'm a little bit worried that the colour might wash me out a bit, because it is definitely a cool tone. It's the colourway Sand, but I think I want to make the Euro sweater by Agio Knits. Full light of day, it looks like it might wash me out a little bit. So, and I did try to take it outside. I had a bit of a boo-boo with the shop assistant, because I asked the person who was helping me, I was like, oh, is there a mirror? And she was like, yeah, just go around the corner. And I went around the corner, and another shop assistant was in front of the mirror. So I was like, oh, sorry, can I just get it, like, to see the mirror? And she was like, yeah, sure. Or you could take it outside if you want to, and like, see it in the light of day. And I was like, oh, like, it's quite a big mirror. So I was like, oh, okay, yeah, no, that would be great if I could take it outside, okay. But it was quite a big mirror, so I was like, oh, okay. So I sort of tried to, like, start moving it, and I was like, is she gonna, like, help me move the mirror? And then she was like, what are you doing? And I was like, I'm taking the mirror outside. And she was like, don't you have a phone? And I was like, of course. I'll see it on my phone, yeah. I just wanted to die. Why did I think she was saying take the mirror? I mean, to be fair, like, she, like, grammatically, the last, like, object in the sentence was the mirror, and she said take it outside, but she literally looked at me like I had 2 brain cells, and I was so embarrassed. So then I kind of went outside, like, if anything, just to cool my face off, because I was so flushed and embarrassed. And I tried to, like, do it with my phone, but I couldn't really see. It's really hard to see, like, in a phone camera. You're, like, moving around, and there's, like, shadows and stuff. And I kind of wish that she had just let me use the mirror, even in the shop. That was a bit annoying. And, like, she did make me feel kind of stupid for that, which I'm not sure it was entirely my fault. But she's speaking a second language and I'm definitely not, so I'm not going to blame her for that. It did mean that I was a bit too embarrassed to actually check whether this actually went with my skin. And I don't know if it does, but I think it will make a beautiful sweater anyway, and I'm not opposed to dyeing something after it's been made. They've got this gorgeous smell, like proper just sheepy. They've even got, like, bits of farm stuck in them. It's just amazing. It looks really good. I got 6 balls of the Hjeltholz, that one. They were 115 kroner each, which was 690 kroner total. £75 for, like, a jumper's worth of delicious Danish yarn. I'm very happy with that. So my next stop was Sommerfuglen, which I really liked, and I actually ended up going back later in the day. So I'm going to come back to that and, like, tell you more about that later. So after Sommerfuglen, I went to Tantegrön, which was quite out of the way, to be honest. I had to cycle quite a long way to get there. And it was nice, like, it was a nice shop, but I didn't spend very long in there. I didn't buy anything. It didn't have anything that really made it stand out from all the others. If you have limited time, I would say like you can skip that. I feel bad saying that because I don't want to encourage you to not go there, but like I say, that time, energy, money thing, I didn't really feel like it was worth that for me. The next one though was my favourite shop by far, was Brunstrick. It was so good. It was beautiful. The women who were working in there were so... I just wanted to be friends with them. I felt like I was chatting to a friend about like what I was going to knit. I didn't intend to get this at all. It just sort of fell into my bag. What can I say? This beauty, 9 balls of the softest chaos chunky Andean wool in electric blue. Just look at that colour. Just look like that. You can't even really see it on this. Like, that colour is just incredible. I got 9 of that, and I think I'm going to make a cardigan or maybe a Busan sweater by Agio Knits. Again, this was one of those ones that, like, looking at it, I thought, okay, that's like a pretty standard weight of yarn, you know? It's not super, super chunky. Yeah, it's got some, like, bulk to it, but it's not like a chunky yarn. But then like every pattern I looked at was just not right for it. But really helpfully, they had loads of samples of this knitted up like gauge swatches with different needle sizes. So I could literally see, like, handle the swatches and be like, this one's too airy, this one is too dense. And I could really see like what my gauge would be. I just love this colour. I can't stop staring at it. It's gorgeous. Look at that. In total, for 9 balls of yarn, 35 krona each, which works out as about £4. Just, yeah, about £4 each. £4 a ball. £4 a ball for that. That's amazing. I'm so chuffed with that. So £4 a ball for that. £4 a ball. And I got 9, which means I spent basically £36. Incredible. Oh no, they were 38. 38 each. So they were about £4.50. Fine. They were £4.50. So that was so chuffed, but I felt kind of guilty coming out of that shop because I really didn't intend to buy blue yarn. And I kind of think that if I had thought about it more and had more like of a plan, I probably would have bought this with like a colourwork project in mind and maybe done, maybe like the Inga sweater by Le Knit. Maybe that would have been really good. I still love it. I'm so chuffed. I can't wait to do it. And then my final purchase, I actually went back to Sommerfuglen. I don't know why. I don't know what. I think because I had really wanted to get something for that Niels jumper remake. And I also really wanted to get some Isaiah yarn because you can't really get that. You can. There are some places where you can get that in the UK, but it's quite rare and it's quite expensive and you can rarely like go into a shop and feel it. So I did really want to get some of that. So I went back into Sommerfuglen and they were so kind. Like before, the first time I went, it was quite busy. Lots of people there. It's like central Copenhagen. It just felt a bit like, I was a bit overwhelmed. And I asked the shop assistant for some help and she was so helpful. She was so kind. Like they were so, all of them, everyone I spoke to was so at ease, kind of just helping you with the project. And they were so knowledgeable about like, this yarn has a really great structure and is really good for like structured knitting. This yarn is better for like pairing with a moat. Like they were so knowledgeable about stuff like that. And I also didn't feel pressured into buying anything. Like with this next yarn I bought, we did the calculations and the woman who was helping me was like, you could go for 10 skeins of this. You might get away with just getting 9. And then I thought that she was going to be like, but get 10 just to be safe. And then she was like, actually, no, like you're making the smallest size, you're pairing it with something, like you could probably get 9. Like I think you'll be fine with 9. And I was really like, oh, okay, wow, yeah, I think so. But, you know, because I love a bit of yarn chicken. But I felt like she was going to pressure me into buying more. And she actually didn't. She was like, no, go for 9. So my last purchase of the whole trip, which completely bankrupted me, but happily so, I'm thrilled about it, is this Isaiah Alpaca 2 in the colour 56. I'm in love. I'm in love. I'm going to pair it with my mohair knitting for Olive in clover. I can't wait. It's going to be a beautiful, light, springy jumper. There's the thickness of it. It's very thin. So I got 6 of those. Like I say, I don't feel so bad about playing yarn chicken with that because we can get Isaiah in the UK. It's just not as easily accessible or like squishable. I just love that. I mean, yum. Surrounded by yarn now and very happy, very poor. I was going to go out to brunch with a friend this morning and I texted her and was like, do you think we could maybe do free brunch at my house? Because I don't think I can afford to eat out. So anyway, I better go prep that. This has probably been a really long vlog. So thank you so much if you've watched this far. That's my friend. Bye. Let's get a sweet treat.